Hare Krishna, everyone.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. I'm sorry again for
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Ji, last week. Okay, we'll get started with the prayers. Okay. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Chakshurunmilitamena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shrirupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute तप्त कांचना गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैता गदाधरा श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 रामा राम राम हरे हरे ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय Translations and purpose to chapter 13 are by Bhagavad Gita advised divine grace K.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Jai Shri Prabhupada. Okay, quick recap of the 13th chapter. 13th chapter is named Nature, Enjoy and Consciousness, and we have covered up till 29 verses up until last week. The sections headings in this chapter are Arjuna 6 questions. The questions itself are what is Prakriti, what is Purusha, what is um, Jnanam, Gyayam, Purusha, and Kshetra and Kshetrajna. Kshetrajna, Prakriti, Purusha, Jnanam, and Gyayam. These are 6 questions. So Krishna describes Kshetrajna, and Jnanam. He gives elaborate on the Jnanam part, and then he describes the process of acquiring knowledge. What are the different elements of knowledge and how to acquire that, and who is the object of knowledge? Object of knowledge is the two people. One is the body, the Kshetra. There are two Kshetrajnas, right? The knower of the body and the super soul. The soul and the super soul are the two kshetrajnas, who are the knowers of the body. Then the object of the knowledge is to know the matter, spirit, and the um, prakriti. That is what he explains about the object of knowledge. Then he explains Purusha, Prakriti, and their union. What is the relationship between Prakriti, Purusha, and their union? How the Purusha is the cause of suffering and enjoyment, and prakriti is the cause and effect, is the reason for cause and effect, and purusha is the reason for his enjoyment and his suffering, and that happens because of their attachment to the senses and using all their elements that are available to them, 24 elements that we know of. It becomes interacted, all the interactions either causes the purusha to either have suffering or enjoyment. Now, what happens? So, where should we go from there? These are all facts. These are all facts, right? Now, where do we go? The vision of knowledge. How do you see so that you can get that knowledge? Jnana Chakshu. Jnana is the knowledge. Chakshu is to see, a vision. Through the vision of knowledge, how you will see the difference is that section, final section, will explain the process, glorifies the devotional service again. So verses 27 to 35. We are at verse 30. Am I sharing the whole screen or just the PowerPoint?
The PowerPoint.
Okay. Share the screen. Now this that after. Okay, we'll start with text verse 31, 30, and then we'll take turns. Text 30. प्रकृत्यैव च कर्माणि क्रियमाणानि सर्वशः यः पश्यति तदात्मानम् अकर्तारं स पश्यति. Synonyms. Prakritya by material nature, eva certainly, cha also, karmani activities, kriyamanani being performed, sarvashaha in all respects, yaha anyone who, pashati sees, tata also, atmanam himself, akartaram the non-doer, saha he, pashati sees perfectly. Translation: one who can see all that all activities are performed by the body, which is created of material nature, and sees that the self does nothing actually sees. Purport. This body is made by material nature under the direction of the super soul. And whatever activities are going on in respect to one's body are not his doing. Whatever one is supposed to do, either for happiness or for distress, one is forced to do because of the bodily constitution. The self, however, is outside all these bodily activities. This body is given according to one's past desires. To fulfill desires, one is given the body with which he acts accordingly. Practically speaking, the body is a machine designed by the Supreme Lord to fulfill desires. Because of desires, one is put into difficult circumstances to suffer or to enjoy. This transcendental vision of the living entity, when developed, makes one separate from bodily activities. One who has such a vision is an actual seer. So clear, right? Who is an actual seer? One who can develop that vision that this body is being created due to the interaction with the various elements in the nature, and it is just like a machine. And it will also describe in the 14th chapter, I think, that this body is a yantra rodha nimaya. I say it's a yantra, it's nothing but a machine actually. Is it saying in the next verse? No. It is just a machine that has, because if you give it fuel, it will work. If you don't give it the input like fuel, then it will not work as properly. Then it has some timing, like it needs certain downtime, and it's active at some point. The machine also needs some downtime, right? You need to keep it at rest. You cannot keep running the machine 24/7. You need to reduce, put it down. That way it can rejuvenate. Like, when it becomes hot, then you let it sit, then you run it again. Similarly, the body also needs that much of resting time so that it rejuvenates and again functions. And everything that we desire of has led us to this body, because we have desired something, and this body has been created to just fulfill those desires so far that we have had. It's why if we keep desiring material things, then there will be more bodies created to fulfill those desires. So far we have desired something, that's why we have been given this body, because to fulfill that. But when we can start seeing, okay, this body is been given to me to fulfill all this, let me separate that vision, or let me look at it from a different vision, that I am separate from this body. This body needs time to time, it needs some food, some rest, some energy, but the soul also rests at the time when we also are sleeping. But then the slowly is even though when you become dull and uh, need some rest, the soul is still active. That's when we have the life inside the body. So the soul is still active. So for one who can differentiate between the soul and the body is actually the seer, as per this verse. Okay, we'll move to the next verse, 31. Bharati Mataji, please read.
Yeah, Mataji. यदा भूतपृथग्भावम् एकस्तम् अनुपश्यति तथा एव च विस्तारं ब्रह्म सम्पद्यते तथा. Synonyms: Yada, when bhuta of living entities, pratak bhavam, separated identities, ekastam, situated in one, anupashyati, one who tries to see through authority, tata eva, thereafter, cha also, vistaram, the expansion, brahma, the absolute, sampatyate, he attains, tada, at that time. Translation. When a sensible man ceases to see different identities due to different material bodies and he sees how beings are expanded everywhere, he attains to the Brahman conception. Purport. When one can see that various bodies of living entities arise due to the different desires of the individual soul and do not actually belong to the soul itself, one actually sees. In material conception of life, we find someone a demigod, someone a human being, a dog, a cat, etc. This is material vision, not actual vision. This material differentiation is due to a material conception of life. After the destruction of the material body, the spirit soul is one. The spirit soul, due to our contact with material nature, gets different types of bodies. When one can see this, he attains spiritual vision, thus being freed from differentiations like man, animal, big, low, etc. One becomes purified in his consciousness and able to develop Krishna consciousness in his spiritual identity. How he can see things will be explained in the next verse. Hare Krishna.
So when a sensible man ceases to see different identities due to different material bodies, and he sees how beings are expanded everywhere, he attains to the Brahman conception. So Brahman conception is something that when we see equal vision between all the bodies and no different in the sense like there is a with equal vision you see all the living entities because they all belong, they have a soul. From the soul platform, if you see every living entity is a soul. They have a different covering, such as a man, a dog, a cat, etc. But if you look at them as their material designations, then that is a material vision. If you look at from the soul perspective, every living entity has a soul. That soul has taken a form of this covering so far. And then it will be done with that body, then it will take another covering. So we need to develop that. That is the starting point to see that we are all individual souls. We are just having this material covering, spirit soul. We can look at in that vision, and that is actually Brahman conception. We can perceive it like, maybe it is not that easily for us available or it comes to us automatically, but it can be perceived. If we look at a lot of people, oh my God, there are so many souls. They're all individual souls. They have this body right now. But tomorrow, based on their activities, they may get different bodies. So if you can start to see like that, you can experience. I mean, you can practice. You can practice like seeing like that. Yeah, so this is something like a practical thing that you can develop. Slowly looking at people from the slow platform rather than on the bodily covering. We are attached to the bodies, but behind that there are souls. So we can practice that. Ms. Neha Mataji, please read the next verse.
Thank you, Mataji. Text 32. Anaditvan निर्गुणत्वात् परमात्मायम् अव्ययः शरीरस्थोऽपि कौन्तेय नाकरोति न लिप्यते. Synonyms: anaditvat, due to eternity; nirgunatvat, due to being transcendental; parama, beyond material nature; atma, spirit; ayam, this; avyayah, inexhaustible; sharirasthaha, dwelling in the body; api, though; kaunteya, O son of Kunti; na karoti, never does anything; na lipyate, nor is he entangled. Translation: those with the vision of eternity can see that the imperishable soul is transcendental, eternal, and beyond the modes of nature. Despite contact with the material body, O Arjuna, the soul neither does anything nor is entangled. Purport: a living entity appears to be born because of the birth of the material body, but actually, the living entity is eternal. He is not born, and in spite of his being situated in a material body, he is transcendental and eternal. Thus, he cannot be destroyed. By nature, he is full of bliss. He does not engage himself in any material activities. Therefore, the activities performed due to his contact with material bodies do not entangle him. Hare Krishna.
So what does it mean by the material activities that are performed by him do not entangle him? Are we not getting entangled? So the
The
soul,
soul, yeah,
yes, go ahead.
the soul does not get entangled, just the body.
Body perishes, right?
Mm-hmm.
How is it getting entangled? Like I do some things and I perish, but again I take birth again. A body is not there. That another body will come.
Mm-hmm.
Are we getting entangled? The soul is so beyond the eight coverings, right? What are the eight coverings? Body is made of the eight earthly material elements like earth, water, fire, air, ether, which is the body made of, and then the subtle elements called mind, intelligence, and false ego.
False
Mm-hmm.
ego.
These are the material subtle elements. And the spirit soul within the body is transcendental. Apart from these material coverings, these subtle elements are also material because they can be changed. They undergo some impressions like your mind, intelligence, and false ego go through a lot of um, either good impressions or bad impressions. Mind is getting, and the intelligence is changing accordingly based on your activities that you do. Intelligence always scheming, wants to do something. If you purify that, then the intelligence will be purified. If you purify your activities and you tell the mind, okay, now listen, let's do this good activity rather than mind is by default, it is in mode of goodness, but intelligence one is what it corrupts. So do this, do that, get some enjoyment here and there. Like that, it becomes, it schemes, and then mind gets polluted. Mind goes along with it. And then, so the soul behind everything is and without any, it's not entangled. If you purify all these senses, you purify your mind and intelligence, soul, you'll see the pure soul behind it. But because we have so many coverings, so much of colors are there within our consciousness, it's all colored. So we are not able to see the pure soul behind it. So, but usually, generally, that soul is very pure, unentangled, and it just gets dragged from one body to the other because of all these the subtle body carries mind, intelligence, and falsehood. It just drags it because it has acquired some things in this life. Then it wants to fulfill again based on its desires that is acquired and the impressions it is carrying. It wants to fulfill more based on what it has acquired. That's all it knows. So it goes into the next body and soul gets carried away along with it. But by default, the soul is pure. So the soul, um, based on our activities, when we are able to see the pure soul behind it, that is when is the our liberation. And liberation is not going and mixing in the Brahma refulgence, but going this soul going and um, attaching himself to the lotus feet of the Lord in Goloka Vrindavana. So that is when we become liberated from these material coverings. Yeah. Next verse. Gauri Mataji, please.
Hare Krishna. Text 33. Yatha sarvagatam sauksyamad aksham no palipyate sarvatra vasitho dehe tathatma no palipyate. Synonyms. Yatha as sarvagatam all pervading, saukshmyat due to being subtle, aksham the sky, akasham the sky, na never, upa alipyate mixes, sarvatra everywhere, avasthitah situated, dehe in the body, tatha so, atma the self, no never, Upalipyate mixes. Translation: the sky, due to its subtle nature, does not mix with anything, although it is all pervading. Similarly, the soul, situated in Brahman vision, does not mix with the body, although situated in the body. Purport: the air enters into water, mud, stool, and whatever else is there. Still, it does not mix with anything. Similarly, the living entity, even though situated in varieties of bodies, is aloof from them due to his subtle nature. Therefore, it is impossible to see with the material eyes how the living entity is in contact with this body and how he is out of it after the destruction of the body. No one in science can ascertain this.
The other day at ISKCON, Mrs. Saga, we were talking about the size of the soul, right? The size of the soul is one. What is the size of the soul?
Mm.
How much is it?
Forgot, Mataji.
1/10,000.
10,000th part
Yeah, so
of
that,
the tip of
that,
the head.
and that, yeah, just like of the tip of the hair, 1/10,000. If you take the tip of the hair, divide that by 10,000 parts, take the one part. That is the size of the soul. And the tip of the hair itself is very, but without, I probably can't see without my specs. So that is very small. On the top of it, you divide that into 10,000 parts and take one part. That is the size. So it's just to give an estimate. Even it is less than that. Even it is very subtle than that. Just to give some estimation so that we can perceive how small it is. That is how it is. But it is usually not perceivable. That's why when soul leaves the body, no one can perceive it. So, um, that's why it says that and it cannot mix with anything. Although its presence is what causes the whole material body to be having consciousness, yet it does not mix with the body. Just like the what is it said? Just like the water in the pot, water on the lotus, sky in the air, air in the sky. The sky has got the air everywhere, but yet it is unmixed. It is aloof from the sky. Similarly, the body is the soul is present in the body, yet it is very aloof. And that person who has realized that, he can see difference. Like, I am the spirit soul. This body is just here so that I can do things, because it is the body's nature that it has to be given certain things for it to function properly. If he is able to see the difference, I'm situated in the body, that will be very nice. We can do some practical experience like that when you're sitting quietly alone. See how you can see that the soul within the body, and how your body is actually different than the soul. It's a good way to perceive. Okay, we'll move to the 34th verse. Yata prakashayati ekah kritsnam lokam imam ravihi kshetram kshetri tata kritsnam prakashayati bharata. Yata, as, prakashayati, illuminates, eka, one, kritsnam, the whole, lokam, universe, imam, this, ravi, sun, kshetram, this body, kshetri, the soul, tata, similarly, kritsnam, all, prakashayati, illuminates, bharata, O son of Bharata. Translation: O son of Bharata, as the sun alone illuminates all this universe, so does the living entity, one within the body, illuminate the entire body by consciousness. Purport: there are various theories regarding consciousness. Here in Bhagavad Gita, the example of the sun and the sunshine is given. As the sun is situated in one place but is illuminating the whole universe, so a small particle of spirit soul, although situated in the heart of the body, is illuminating the whole body by consciousness. This consciousness is the proof of the presence of the soul, as sunshine or light is the proof of the presence of the sun. When the soul is present in the body, there is consciousness all over the body. And as soon as the soul has passed away from the body, there is no more consciousness. This can be easily understood by any intelligent man. Therefore, consciousness is not a product of the combinations of matter. It is a symptom of the living entity. The consciousness of the living entity, although qualitatively one with the supreme consciousness, is not supreme. But because the consciousness of one particular body does not share that of another body. But the super soul, which is situated in all bodies as the friend of the individual soul, is conscious of all bodies. That is the difference between the supreme consciousness and the individual consciousness. So this point we have already learned in Kshetra and Kshetrajna. Kshetra and Kshetrajna. Who is a Kshetrajna? They are the two Kshetrajna, right? The individual soul and the supreme soul. The supreme soul is aware of all the individual souls, all the other souls, and the individual soul is only aware of its own self. So that's what it is. Just as the sun illuminates the entire universe, so the spark living entity is present in the body. That is why it is illuminating, and that is why we say we are alive. As soon as that spark leaves the body becomes totally, it goes into the material elements, mixes into the material elements. So we can see it as the sun illuminates the universe, the living entity or the spirit soul illuminates the entire body by consciousness. So that consciousness is, if we can purify to make it put on the lotus feet of Krishna, it becomes Krishna conscious. It's all consciousness. That's what we are talking, right? It's consciousness. We are not doing anything with the body in the sense like Krishna consciousness is very much do with our consciousness. We do things with our body just so that we develop that habit of training the mind, intelligence, purifying them, and also putting the right impressions into our consciousness. We do that with our body, for sure. Devotional services with the body, mind, and words. So that is the difference between the individual soul is for individuals. The supreme consciousness is present in all the individual bodies. That is that verse we are ending, coming to an end. Vanati Mataji, please read. Who read just now? Did I read?
Yeah, you read. I'll read it.
Now you have to read?
Yeah, Mataji.
Okay, that is fine.
क्षेत्रक्षेत्रज्ञयोरेवम् अन्तरं ज्ञानचक्षुषा भूतप्रकृतिमोक्षं च ये विदुर्यान्ति ते परम्. Synonyms: Kshetra of the body, Kshetra Jnanayo, the proprietor of the body, Evam thus, Antaram, the difference, Jnana Chakshusa, by the vision of the knowledge, Bhuta of the living entity, Prakriti from material nature, Moksham the liberation, Cha also, those who, Vidu know, Yanti approach, they Param the supreme. Translation: those who see with the eyes of knowledge the difference between body and the knower of the body can also understand the process of liberation from bondage and material nature and attain to the supreme goal. Purport. The purport of this 13th chapter is that one should know the distinction between the body, the owner of the body, and the super soul. One should recognize the process of liberation as described in verse 18 to 12. Then one can go on to the supreme destination. A faithful person should at first have some good association to hear of God and thus gradually become enlightened. If one accepts a spiritual master, one can learn to distinguish between matter and spirit, and that becomes a stepping stone for further spiritual realization. A spiritual master, by various instructions, teaches his students to get free from the material concept of life. For instance, in Bhagavad Gita, we find Krishna instructing Arjuna to free him from materialistic considerations. One can understand that this body is matter. It can be analyzed with its 24 elements. The body is a gross manifestation. The subtle manifestation is the mind and psychological effects, and the symptoms of life or the interactions of these features. But over and above this, there is a soul, and there is also the super soul. The soul and the super soul are two. This material world is working by the conjunction of the soul and the 24 material elements. One who can see the constitution of the whole material manifestation as this combination of soul and material elements and can also see the situation of the supreme soul becomes eligible to transfer to the spiritual world. These things are not meant for contemplation and for self-realization, and one should have a complete understanding of this chapter with the help of the spiritual master. Thus, the end of Bhaktivedanta, the purpose of the 13th chapter of Srimad Bhagavad Gita in the matter of nature, the enjoyer, and the consciousness. Hare Krishna.
So this verse purport, here Krishna is summarizing that those who see with the eyes of knowledge the difference between the body and the knower of the body, and can also understand the process of liberation from bondage and material nature, attain the supreme goal. So this is covering the knowledge, kshetra, kshetrajna, and the process of liberation, jnanam and gyayam. Jnanam is the knowledge, and the gyayam is the process of liberation, acquiring that knowledge, process of liberation. So is some, and the material nature, prakriti. Purusha is here, prakriti is here, jnanam, gyayam, and kshetra and kshetrajna. Purusha, prakriti, kshetra, kshetrajna, jnanam, and gyayam. Everything is summarized in this verse. I think, in fact, yeah. And Prabhupada actually gives a good purport, very nice purport that summarizes the entire 13th chapter. Right? Are you able to see how the summary has come up? One can understand this body, and that person, with the help of a spiritual master, gradually follows their instruction and becomes enlightened to see the difference between the matter, spirit, and that's a stepping stone, stepping point, place. And slowly you continue to do that, then you will understand how this body is interacting with all its mind and the body are interacting with various material elements. Some are psychological, some are gross, and then it is creating either happiness or distress to the soul. But one who is able to distinguish that and understand there is a soul, there is super soul, and becomes slowly performs devotional service with again the same material elements that we have. The elements are same. All we have to use them in the service of the Lord. Because how will you, just like we understood it from the first session, I said the door is where you came inside, from the door. How will you exit? You also have to exit from the same door. So this body has been given to us with these 24 material elements. We have to use the same material 24 elements to get out of this material world. And how will that happen? Under the guidance of the spiritual master, following his instructions, trying to apply them, understand that the body and the spirit are separate, and perform the devotional so that mind gets purified, the intelligence gets purified, and eventually the body will leave. Of course, body has to leave because of its material. But then because you have purified your mind and intelligence, the soul will eventually be placed at the higher destination. Eventually, that is where then it becomes liberated. So this is how he has explained the 13th chapter. Nature, enjoyer, and consciousness. Any questions in this chapter itself? Or comments? Is it everything appearing together for all of you? Yes.
Slowly, Mataji.
Yes. Go ahead. You're muted.
Yeah, so can we say that the verse 1330 is an explanation for karma because it says the soul is the non-doer?
Akarma? You said akarma?
Yeah.
The activities, akarma is related to the action. Akarma is without getting any karma. Karma can be either do an activity or the result of it. So akarma is an act. It is associated with an activity that you do in the service of the Lord becomes akarma. There is no karma. There is no reaction to it. It becomes akarmic. Like devotional activities are akarmic. Now the one who, what was your point? The 30th verse talks about?
The 30th verse says that the soul is the non-doer.
Soul is a non, if this is, when you said the akarma word is associated with an activity. Non-doer means it is just silently watching. I mean, in the sense, It doesn't undergo any transformation. The soul cannot be cut, cannot be burnt, cannot be put in water or all that. It doesn't happen anything to the, you cannot do anything to the soul. Non-doer means in that sense. The material body goes through transformations, acquires new bodies, interacts with the material nature, but the soul is constant. It doesn't grow, it doesn't get no death, no birth, no transformation for the soul. The body is acquiring the different shapes. So it means that. Okay, 30th only, na, you asked.
Mm-hmm.
Pashyati, sa pashyati means the person who can understand all these interactions of the body and the nature and the soul is able to differentiate between the soul and the body is actually sees means he is a jnani. Jnana chakshu, he has acquired that knowledge. Any other? Arati Mataji, did you have to say anything?
Oh, I think I'm good, Mataji.
Okay, Sneha Mataji.
No questions, Mataji.
Okay. Okay. So we'll just start with that 14th chapter, at least do the breakdown, and we'll leave for the day today and come back next week. The 14th chapter is named with 3 modes of material nature. Okay. It also will be on the similar lines of giving the knowledge of the modes now. Because so far he has described the nature, enjoy consciousness. Now he's going to speak about the 3 modes of material nature. What are the 3 modes of material nature?
Goodness, ignorance, and what's the other one?
Passion.
Goodness,
Passion.
passion.
Goodness,
Yes.
passion, ignorance. Goodness is when you are in. What are the characteristics of goodness? Can anybody define? Try something.
Kindness.
Okay.
Kindness, goodness, it's same.
Yeah, characteristics of kindness, goodness, mode of goodness.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Can I
Ah.
say Mataji?
Yeah. Say.
Sneha Mataji is saying.
No, Mataji, I'm done.
Oh, okay. In the mode of goodness, one get up early morning, Brahma Muhurta time, eat sattvic food, and do the pious activities, donations. It's only centered towards Krishna, and do read good books, sing good kirtan, bhajan, and all the things which are good, not related to anything, ignorance or anything, passion. They are the goodness.
Yes. The characteristics of mode of goodness are the person is peaceful, happy, reading scriptures, generally satisfaction. These are the characteristics of goodness. One who is satisfied is the mode of goodness. Otherwise, a lot of hankering. Okay, I want that. I want this. Okay, I didn't get that. Lamentation. So they are not in that. They're satisfied with what they have. So those are the characteristics of goodness: happiness, peaceful, satisfaction. Reading characters generally. What they do is what Mataji has explained. They wake up in the morning. They chant. They do devotion. That's what they do. But the characteristics of is peaceful, happy, satisfaction, like that. And what are the characteristics of passion?
Anger.
Anger can be in mode of ignorance also.
Frustration.
Frustration. Passion is
Material desires, Mataji?
Huh?
Material desires?
Yeah, very much hankering, passionate, showing strong, energetic, action oriented. They want to do this, like,
They're anxious, right? Anxiety is there in them. Yeah.
anxiety. Depends on anxiety, can be like if you're too much anxious, then it is more of ignorance. but they're action oriented. They want
Restless.
restless, yes, restless, hankering after something, like that characteristics. Ignorance is lazy, morose, frustrated, angry, more of ignorance. So those are, so the soul, the conditioning of the soul by the soul, actually in pure state it is pure, but because of these modes where are they acting on the body, it shows in our senses, then it also affecting the soul. The soul is going through these motions of anger, ignorance, passion, because that's why the soul is in this material world. The soul becomes peaceful, it leaves this place, it cannot live in this place because this place is not suitable for that soul who has purified of by its impurities. So what are the characteristics conditioning of the soul by the material modes? You will see verses 1 to 13. The effect of conditioning by the modes. So what are the results? What happens when you are undergoing these modes? What are some of the effects that you see? 14 to 18. Then transcending the modes, book becoming gunatita. Guna means qualities. Atita means to transcending the modes. Guna atita. Verses 19 to 27. So that's pretty much is the section breakdown. 14th chapter. I think let's do it from next week. 27 verses. Maybe this chapter took about 5 weeks, right? 35 verses. The next chapter should take us 4 weeks if we go in the same pace. And yeah, 5 more chapters. 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. I think we'll conclude for the day unless someone has anything else to share. We'll wait next week.
Mataji, once we're done with Bhagavad Gita, what will we read?
We will take another easily 4, 1 month, 2 months, 16, 17, 2 months, 4 months. 18 will take at least 2 months. Like we can go far.
Oh.
So another 6 months easily we have this. We've been doing this for the past, I don't know, 10 months. The breaks and everything. So yeah, another 6 months we'll do and we'll see what book we'll read at that time.
Okay, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very
Hare
much.
Krishna.
Shama Chakalpatarvesha Tupasindapesha Bhaktanam Pamibhyo Vishwavebe Namo Koti Vaishnavi Ki Jai Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Thank you, Mataji.